Hey Calibrate Tools family, let's talk about our rainy day checklist. Hey guys, over here in my part of town, it's been raining for a few days, and I figure it'll be the perfect time to talk about what you should look for, or should I say, what you can only find when it's raining. Gutters. You can tell if your roof gutters are clogged if they're not draining like they should, especially during a heavy shower. Always make sure to check your gutters on a regular basis just to make sure they're not full of leaves from nearby trees that shed throughout the year. This is also a good time to check for any damage the gutters may have sustained from any stray tree branches that may have hit the gutters on a windy day. So if your gutters are sagging, leaking in areas they shouldn't, or pulling away from the roof or house, make sure you do some repairs before the next big storm hits. The roof. While you're up there checking those gutters, you might as well go ahead and do a visual inspection of your roof. Unfortunately, the rain will do a more thorough inspection than you, as it'll find any chink in the armor to drizzle its way into your home and cause leaks to form, or even worse, major water damage. Many times this water damage goes undetected until it's too severe, so make sure you check your roof for any missing or damaged shingles or tiles. Water damage can show up as leaks from the ceiling light fixture to huge wet spots on the ceiling or walls, or even buckling in the walls because of excess moisture. Having a flat roof, which is common on commercial buildings, is, in my opinion, the worst roof design for wet weather, simply because there is no place for the water to run off the roof as readily as a sloped roof. So you have water collecting in puddles, especially on the parts of the roof that dip and sag. Window frames. Window frames and trim are obviously one of the easiest ways for water to infiltrate your fortress. So you got to investigate the caulking for cracks or any signs of disintegration. Go and grab some fresh caulking or sealant to fill any gaps you come across. Sometimes it's not just a caulking issue. The window frame itself can be broken or damaged, allowing water to get in. A damaged frame can cause your caulking and glazing, which is sort of the glue that keeps the glass in place, to be compromised as well. So if your window frames are leaking, make sure you know where the leak's coming from. Is it a frame problem or just a caulking problem? Your attic or crawl space. The space between your ceiling and the roof is the attic. The space between the floor and the ground is the crawl space. The attic's on top, the crawl space is underneath the home. Both these areas are prone to water damage. Best time to find leaks is to take a flashlight, if a light isn't already installed in the attic or crawl space, and look for any leaks while it's raining. Once you find any, mark them with tape or chalk so you can know where they are to find them to do repairs when the rain lets up. And while you're in the crawl space or attic, check for mold or framing that's rotten. Certain creatures like these damp, dark areas, like rats and termites. So look out for those too. Chimneys. If you happen to have one, make sure it's inspected on the regular. If you're wondering who to call for that, well, they're called chimney sweeps. They'll look over everything, including the fireplace and the chimney, to make sure everything is in working order. They'll also seal up any areas on the chimney that would allow rain to get in. Decks. For those of you that have decks, you know how wet weather can damage them over time. The wood is constantly exposed to the elements, heat and cold, and all the debris and leaves that cause the wood to become discolored and weathered. Not to mention the fasteners. That's the screws, nails, and joist hangers that keep it all together. Rain can get to those too, and they can become corroded. The pros recommend that you reseal your deck every 1 to 2 years. Fortunately, sealing a wooden deck is not that difficult. You just need to choose the right sealant for the deck. So it's a great DIY project anyone can do. Yards. When it comes to your yard and other parts of your property, you want to make sure that water is draining as it should when it's raining, and that there's nothing clogging the storm drains. Water tends to pool up in certain parts of your yard more than others because of the uneven terrain, which is normal. But if it grows from a small puddle to a lake that you have to swim across, then you have a drainage problem. This is common if your property is on a sloped lot. If possible, look into the different drainage systems out there to divert water away from your property. One such system to accomplish this is called a French drain. French drains consist of a combination of ditches and pipes that are used to divert water away from a specific area, for example, your home's foundation. These drains can last up to 40 years. They're affordable, depending on the scope of work to be done, and most of all, they're pleasing to the eye, which every homeowner appreciates. Now, you can install a French drain yourself, but it's not as easy as resealing a deck, because you're talking about digging ditches, which increase the risk of cutting into buried utility lines, sewer lines, or pre-existing drain lines. This could end up costing you more than you bargained for. Call the proper agencies to find out where the underground lines are before you dig. Trees. Trees always pose one of the biggest risks in stormy weather. We've all seen or heard of the damage they can do to a home or even the homeowners themselves, let alone random people. Always be on the lookout for trees that are in close contact with power lines. Make sure you trim branches so that they're a safe distance from your home. Generally, the safest distance your house must be from a tree is around 20 feet. When it comes to the branches, the closest branches should be at least 10 feet away. Hire a reputable tree service provider in your area, as they do have irreputable ones, to take care of jobs that are too big for you to handle. Do not, and I repeat, do not try to tackle a tree that you know can wreck your home by yourself or with amateurs. Pools. Don't think a pool is immune to damage from a rainstorm just because it's a pool. There are certain safety steps you must take to reduce the risk. 1. Don't cover your pool during a hard rain or flood. I know it sounds counterintuitive because you would think that a pool cover would protect a pool from any debris thrown around by a rainstorm. In actuality, pool covers can be lifted off of your pool by strong winds. They can become damaged by flying debris. Even worse, the cover itself could be laden with water from the rain itself, making it hard to remove. Turn off the power to your pool. We're talking about the circuit breaker at the main electrical panel. All the important components that keep your pool operating efficiently, like the motor, the lighting, the chlorinators, and the heaters, can be damaged by large amounts of water, so you have to turn them off during a storm. If you have a fiberglass or vinyl liner pool, don't drain the pool. The water in the pool will act as a weight, keeping the pool in place in heavy storms or winds. You don't want a stray pool flying around the neighborhood. This goes without saying. Remove any pool deck furniture, or at least secure them to something where they won't fly around and damage your house or yourself. Fences. Always inspect your fences for damage or areas where the anchor posts may be coming out of their base. Wooden fences, like many wooden structures, tend to rot and decay with age. Metal fences tend to corrode, especially at the base where it sits in the concrete. Vinyl fences can lose their post caps in a storm. Those falling trees I mentioned earlier can also land on your fence. So if it's storming out there, keep an eye on those trees and make sure that your fences are secure. All right, guys, I hope you got something from that. If you got something to add to the list, please leave it in the comments so we all can learn. That's what this is about. Hit the like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.